What is up, my friends? We are back, and as you can see, we've had to make a little bit of a substitution this week. Welcome in, Mr. Conor Crosby, who's taken the place of Steve, who had a bit of a last-minute hiccup, which meant he couldn't join us today. So, Conor, welcome in.
Thank you very much. Excuse the broken voice here. I was just at Oasis last night, so if I do sound a bit croaky, apologies, but we're here anyway. We'll give it a go.
I'd like to apologise massively for the flexing and the big Oasis memorabilia beside him, just to let us all know that he was at Oasis yesterday.
Has to be done.
So, as the only member, Chris, of this podcast that hasn't been to Oasis since they've reformed, how was your Oasis gig as well?
Oh, it was amazing back in Cardiff. Like the second ever gig. Incredible. Never forget it. But yeah, I'm honestly, if I was on the podcast the day after I was at Oasis, it wouldn't even be a thing. So fair play to Conor for making an appearance.
Absolutely. I would have no voice either, so he's done very well there. Gents, lots to go through, and obviously now we know what the new Premier League campaign looks like. The Reds' opening game against Bournemouth, 4-2 victory, and Chris, you were at the game, so I just wanted to really start off with your thoughts on the celebration of Diogo and Andre and their lives before the game.
Yeah, I mean, lucky there wasn't a camera on me. I was blubbing, like honestly crying. It was nuts. Yeah, there's the amount of respect, really. The banner, especially, that had all Ruta and his children's names, saying "You're always welcome at Anfield." That got my missus crying as well. Yeah, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful moment.
It was very befitting of the moment, Conor, as well. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but his wife and his kids went to Wolves then the next day as well for that game.
Yeah, I think they had the big tifo and everything, didn't they? Like they done a very nice tribute to him as well, which is always nice to see. And like Chris said, like it's lovely to see everyone welcoming the family as part of the club moving forward as well. Like it is just nice to see, and yeah, nice tribute paid to them.
And every club that celebrated both their lives this weekend, including at Old Trafford as well. It was lovely to see that sentiment and a well-respected moment silence before all the games. So well done to everybody. And again, to Chelsea Football Club for their donations towards Jota's family and that fund as well from their Club World Cup money. Just want to say, again, a huge thank you on behalf of the whole Liverpool family for that one. Right, Chris, a game broke out, though, afterwards. And I think I've still got more questions than answers, mate, about what we're going to see this season, because we know we can score goals, but yet again, unfortunately, dude, we conceded a couple.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued. I think that Arne really got it on the head afterwards, and he was speaking about just the places we lose the ball are so dangerous. And obviously, Bournemouth got their 2 goals from the edge of their own box. So clearly, we need to be more adept at combating that. But what I think is that the really encouraging thing is, and there was a lot of encouraging things to take from that game, but just big Hugo, man, just big Hugo, just incredible vibes. I was honestly so surprised to see the stature of the guy. He is an absolute beast. Like he dwarfed all of their centre backs, and just the way that our midfield, when we did have the ball, controlled the ball, was really good. It's when they lost it the big problems came, and I'm sure we'll dissect that throughout this podcast.
Conor, it was a pleasant surprise to me to see how quickly Hugo looked like he belonged in there. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I didn't know much about Hugo Ekitike before this summer, heard his name, didn't know what to expect. What were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, like Chris said, like he just looks so good, and I think the greatest compliment we can give him is the fact that he's the latest of the signings come in, and he looks like he's been there the longest. Like we've seen, like there's going to be teething issues, of course, when we have new players, but he just looks like he's fit in seamlessly. And I know me personally, definitely, I didn't know what to expect with Ekitike, and it was a bit not hesitant on deciding, but I didn't really know what we were getting. But 2 games into his career, I'm already fully on board. Like it just looks incredible already.
Mad vibes, Chris, for me, of Bobby Firmino about that goal and the finish, the way he took it. He kind of got a bit of the Luis Suarez look with the ricochet going his way on the way through, but what a way to announce himself to the Anfield faithful.
I was going to say, like, he has got a crazy combination, I think. He reminds me of, like, you couldn't think of 2 footballers on a more polar opposite spectrum, but Darwin Núñez meets Bobby Firmino. And that's like Darwin's electric pace, his rangy footwork, his ability to drop it. And then you got Bobby's ability to drop in. You got the playmaking ability. He's such a good, tidy footballer, which, as I've said on the podcast already, that's what Arne Slot wants, is tidy footballers, players who can play the ball to feet, who can unlike Darwin, really. So I think that's what was really impressive about him, is that he's got that incredible combo of the two best attributes. I really, really, really am looking forward to seeing how many goals he's going to score this season, because I think it could be, 20 plus.
I mean, we'll move on to speak about Isak in a while and what that attack might look like if we get these done. But, Conor, we will celebrate the goals that we scored, but I still have concerns about the ones that we conceded. And both the goals, yet again, came from Liverpool turning over possession. Does it worry you?
Yeah, it's one of them ones, like, you can blame the defenders, obviously, like they were backing off too much. But like Chris brought up, the two balls we gave away were in danger positions. And even Slot was speaking about this after the game, and he was kind of questioned by Jamie Carragher on whether he'd change, maybe putting so many players far forward while we're ahead. And he basically said no. He basically said that is how we're going to play. So it is like, it's sloppy mistakes, but again, it's the two defenders at the back, Konate and Van Dijk. Konate looked very shaky that game. Like, there was 2 or 3 mistakes even before that, and Van Dijk just doesn't look his imperious self. Like, he was slightly better than Konate, but it is definitely a worry. Even Kerkez then on the left as well, just flying into tackles, doesn't look settled yet. But I'm sure we'll get there, but it definitely is worrying at the moment.
One thing, I guess, Chris, that we do need to put into context here is we didn't have Ryan Gravenberch for the Community Shield for one reason, and then the suspension, obviously, for this game. And I think he would make a difference splitting the centre-backs as well, even if... Let's look at the second goal as an example. So Endo's really high up the pitch on the right-hand side, which is insane anyway. But then when they turned over possession, to see Semenyo go unchallenged for 3/4 of the pitch nearly, it just drove me insane. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Konate was turning himself inside out and ended up doing nothing.
Yeah, it was that second goal. I mean, there's certain situations where, and I actually do think that there are certain situations where standing off is the better of the two scenarios. Don't go diving in, because then they've got a free run on goal if you miss the challenge. But with a player like Antoine Semenyo, you know how good he is. The key example, I think, is when you remember that Van Dijk one where he stood off Sissoko, he let him have a shot. That's a player who is notorious, finisher, where you've got a player who scored double digits Premier League goals, as someone who's been linked with big moves. You don't let him, have a free shot on goal from 15 yards, especially with that level of momentum behind him. So I was really worried about that. I thought Konate was pretty shambolic throughout. I genuinely think we will improve with Gravenberch, because there will be another body in there. But Arne seems really, really keen on playing this gung-ho style. So I really want to know how we're going to cut out these little mistakes.
So for me, Conor, on that second goal in particular, I do hear what Chris is saying about maybe sometimes you don't engage. But in this situation, to me, and this might be the cynical old fool coming out in me, but take him down. I don't care whether you get the ball or not. Just don't let him get a shot away near the 18-yard box. Bring him down somewhere. Go for the challenge. If you don't make it, take a yellow card. You can't, when you've conceded one, then be that loose for the second. You have to engage him.
Especially at the point where he's around the centre circle. Like, fair enough if he's on the edge of the box, you don't go ploughing into him. But like Chris said as well, at times it is right to back off. But at least one of them has to go in at some point. Like, to let him get to the 18-yard box is criminal. And like you said, just take a yellow, pull his shirt, nip at his heels, anything. Just take him down. Don't let him shoot. That's the basics of it.
Yeah, it was just a very naive bit of defending. Is probably the kindest I can be about it. Now, I want to move on to speak, of course, about Chiesa's moment, about Mohamed Salah, about Cody Gakpo. But, Chris, as a former referee, I would like your take on the absolute shambolic bit of VAR work from Guess Who, Michael Oliver, around this. Now, there was a thought process from Dermot Gallagher and a few others that I think might actually be right, in that he feels VAR rushed it, and they just looked at the elbow contact on the ball first and didn't watch for the swipe, because that's the only way this makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, when we were watching it on the way home, we were just like, everyone was there. It's like, what? Like, he literally makes a little flap at it, doesn't it? And it makes contact. It's so blatantly obvious. I don't really know what was going through Senesi's mind. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're just guaranteed to be sent off. But clearly not. As you say, the only explanation is that they fumbled it. And there needs to be like an explanation behind that, because they haven't really come out and said anything, have they?
No, not that I've seen. I mean, Conor, there is a line from there, McGallagher, that sticks in my throat a little bit, which was, well, it didn't impact the game anyway. The game, the results still went Liverpool's favour. I mean, that is nonsense of the highest order. It's not thanks to that decision that we went to win the game. It's because the lads had the bottle to go up the other end and get the goals. But week one, Conor, week one, and a very easy
Not
decision.
even just week one. 13 minutes into the new season is all it took. First game,
England
13
finest
minutes.
in the VAR hub, and yet again doesn't understand the handball rule. Ask the Odegaard game again with Arsenal. Same guy, same incident in the penalty area, no handball.
Or like you said, like it's like the outcome of the game makes no difference. If we had lost, then would it be a bigger deal? Like it's the same thing. No matter what way the game goes, it happened. Like if we have an extra player, we score more, we've better goal difference. There's less wear and tear on the players running around. That could affect injuries. Like it does have a knock-on effect. It's just comical to suggest that it doesn't matter just because we won.
True. And while we're speaking about referees, Chris, I've criticised the referee for what he did wrong. Let's praise him for what he did right, and a couple of things in particular. Obviously, there was a very unsavoury incident with Antoine Semenyo. I thought Anthony Taylor handled that remarkably well, as of course did the player. But we don't want to see that in football, not just at Anfield.
No, yeah, it was a really confusing one in the ground. Everyone was really, a bit worried. Thought there was someone who was taken ill, and it turned out to be this situation. And yeah, I think what we have to say is that the whole fallout from it is this one guy is clearly a one-person incident, and it's going to be dealt with, I think, with the harshest possible punishment. And what I have to say is the big respect for Taylor for actually going and communicating with the two managers and the two captains straight away. Like as soon as he heard about it, the fact that they took a break, brilliant. I thought that was really, really good. And also, I have to have full respect, as you say, for Antoine Semenyo for the way that he came back and actually, channeled that into his performance. He was brilliant. He's a brilliant player, and he seems like a really nice guy. So, yeah, I just hope that none of that is ever seen at Anfield again. But I really hope not.
And on the other side of the refereeing performance, Conor, Arna praised Anthony Taylor for letting the game go and letting the game flow as well, which I have to say, it takes a little while to get used to maybe some of these iffy challenges being told to play on. But if that's going to be the sentiment moving forward and it's consistent, I'm all for it.
Yeah, like you said, as long as it's consistent, that's all we ask for as fans. Like, fair enough, if something is a penalty, isn't a penalty, is a free, isn't a free. As long as it's not, we don't get this week, someone else gets the following week. It's just, yeah, let the game flow. Like, no one wants stop-start games. Just let the game flow, let the challenges go. As long as no one's getting injured, it's fine. So, yeah, happy days on that.
And Chris, is this the save your career at Liverpool moment for Federico Chiesa, the 3-2 goal?
I hope so. I think I speak for the whole fan base when we say that. I think the one thing we have to realize with Federico Chiesa is there is a world-class footballer in there. There is literal proof of that from European competitions, from the way that he played at Fiorentina and at Juventus. Like he is a world-class footballer at his best. He has been very unlucky with injuries and the way that it's gone for him, but just because of last season, I think it'd be really foolish to write him off. The one thing is, I just don't know how he gets regular minutes. Like, I think the only way he's ever going to make an impact at the moment is either if Mo Salah gets injured, which is nigh on impossible because he doesn't get injured.
Don't jinx it.
Well, yeah, I probably shouldn't say it, but if Mo Salah gets injured or if he continues to make impacts off the bench, because I just don't know where he starts. You tell me it's something different, but I just don't know how he's ever going to get in the team on a regular basis, and that breaks my heart because I really, really like him.
And we look at other players showing emotion on the day, Conor. Obviously, you could see the weight of the Jota situation and the release from Mohamed Salah in his emotion at the end of the game when he was standing in front of the Kop, and even before the game when he had that moment of prayer and reflection. You could see that this was a tough, emotional evening for everybody inside Anfield, and it was great to see Mo get that goal at the end.
100%. It was just such a release. And even like earlier in the game, I can't remember which Bournemouth player it was, but he kind of had a bit of a shove with him in the box during the corner, and that's not Mo.
Smith,
like
my memory's right. Number 15.
So. Yeah, but like we never see that type of behaviour from Salah. Like, he obviously was, I don't know if roiled up is the word, but yeah, it definitely was taking his toll emotionally on him, I think. And I'm glad he did get the goal, because maybe that will be some sort of release for him, and he can start to kind of not move on again. It's so hard to talk about this subject without sounding insensitive, but you know what I mean? Just kind of, if that can be the moment for Mo to have that moment with the fans, the cathartic moment, I suppose, then that'll be good.
I thought, Chris, that Mo's goal summed up Mo. He made it from running the hard yards unselfishly behind the line himself to get to the far side of the pitch to keep the ball in because one of our other players were offside. And then the finish was just pure class.
Yeah, with his right foot. You don't see many of them. Yeah, I mean, he had a really tough game. I think he's had a really, really tough start to the season. Obviously, Community Shield, he was quite poor. But look, he's Mohamed Salah. He's going to score you goals. He's going to get you assists. Doesn't matter how he plays. He's always going to be a threat. That's why you never take him off, because you just don't know what he's going to come out with. And that goal was a perfect example of it. It was a lost cause, takes players on, wonderful finish. And it was amazing to see him do that celebration as well.
So moving on to speak about Arne Slot's overall tactics and substitutions and the way that the game panned out. Conor, have you any concerns? You know, we spoke at the very start of the pod about so many players being advanced and we were on the attack. Any concerns about Arne's system, or do you think we just need the right personnel, i.e. Gravenberch in there, and a little bit more rhythm?
I think, yeah, Gravenberch certainly helps anyway. I think we are just like one official game, really. We won't count Community Shield. If we'd won it, we counted, but we didn't, so we won't. So one game in, we're still figuring out this new Arne Slot system. So I'm going to hold off my judgment on a few more games. And even like, you know, Isak comes in, Ekitike goes left. Does that look different? Does Ekitike not play up front? Or like I think it's too early to make judgments, but certainly would like a bit more defensive stability. But I think Gravenberch should help with that. So,
Chris, here's the thing that concerns me. We've lost Luis Diaz, obviously a tried and tested top-notch player, and we're told as fans that young Rio Ngamoa is progressing up, except when the manager needs something and he looks to the bench, doesn't feel like lately he feels like Rio Ngamoa is the answer or an answer to the question, how can I change this up?
Yeah, I mean, he chose Federico Chiesa this time, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, look, there will be chances for young Rio. Carabao Cup's coming up, Champions League matches where potentially you think, you know, we've got a pretty strong chance. Obviously, that draw will be pretty soon. And I think he will get some minutes in the Premier League. I don't think he's going to be the sort of, it will be a 25 to 30 match season. It'll be a 10 to 15. Being in and around the squad, I think will really help him. And also, you know, still playing under 21s football, there will still be opportunities for him to completely tear that up in like the youth leagues and things like that. I think he's an option. I think the fact there was just communicated that, you know how like some journalists are, they just communicate that as sort of a smokescreen for potentially something else.
Well, I wanted to move on to transfers in a moment, Conor, but before we get into the specifics of who and where and when, let's just look at the numbers. If you were, well, you are a Liverpool fan. I was going to say if you were Arne Slot, but as Liverpool fans, looking at the squad now, maybe allowing for Elliott to move on. How many more bodies, and we'll talk about specifics in a moment, do you think we need before the window shuts in 2 weeks?
Yeah, like you look at the bench for the last game and it's not exactly stacked. Like you think it's at least 2, if not 3, but I don't know how realistic that will be. Like I think, again, not going into too many specifics, but definitely at least 1 attacker, if not 2, and probably another centre-back will be on the list. So yeah, I think at least 2, if not 3.
And for you, Chris, obviously seeing Leoni brought in, and we'll talk about that in a second. Just numbers-wise, how many more do you think we need before the window shuts?
I mean, I think minimum 2. Like, to be honest, I think it should be 4. I think we should have 1 centre half and 2 forwards and potentially another defensive midfielder as well. I still think we're lacking in that area. I love Wassaru, but sometimes I'm just like, if Gravenberch gets injured, would I trust him in the Champions League final? Probably not. I definitely wouldn't trust him at right back. So, yeah, I think 4 would be my ideal, but I think they're probably going to end up with 2, which would be a centre back and a forward.
One thing in Arne's favour, by the way, that I forgot to mention about the tactics information was he did spot that the Endo thing wasn't working quite quickly and put Joe.
I mean, I spotted that, to be fair. We all spotted that.
True, but at least he acted on it and he wasn't stubborn about it.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Wasn't it the whole, like, I think the whole thing was that Joe Gomez wasn't fit enough to play 40 minutes, play half an hour. He was only fit enough to play 20. Or that's what the sports scientists recommended. So that's why
that's what Slot said, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
My mental well-being recommended differently.
Well, it was quite obvious that like when Endo came on there that, yeah, Brooks had him on toast, and it was pretty painful to watch.
So let's speak a minute, Conor, about the greatest centre-back we'd never heard of 6 months ago in Giovanni Leoni coming to the club. One thing that struck me about this, Conor, is, I mean, you guys are younger than me, but 18 years of age to up sticks, move leagues and countries and come across and back yourself to come into that Liverpool defence. He clearly has something about him.
100%. Yeah, like I remember seeing when we were initially linked, I thought not a chance in hell this fella comes to England. Like the Italians don't really tend to leave Serie A, especially that age as well. Like ask any of us to move country at that age, and it's very daunting. So it's a huge testament to him that he actually just has the balls already to back himself, move to England, move to the greatest club on the planet, and just go for it. Like he already looks Scouse as well. He's Scouse Dini, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he does.
Chris, as soon as I seen the image of him thrown around Lukaku like a rag doll, I was signed up.
Yeah, he looks like an absolute unit, doesn't he? And the best video, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, was the one with him and Alisson. Like he dwarfs Alisson. Like, and Alisson's absolutely massive. So it's going to be really, really interesting. And obviously, he's probably still got more growing to do. I don't think men fully grow until you're 21, 22. So
he definitely fill out more. Yeah,
he'd end up being 7 foot tall the way he's going.
Him 6 months ago, 9 months ago, showing up to an under-18s disco somewhere. I'm here. I'm here for the kid.
Man out in betweeners. He's 18.
Wolfie, yeah. Wolfie was only 16, wasn't he? 16 or 17, actually 17.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. I, to be honest, I've only seen YouTube compilations. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've watched hours of Giovanni Leoni highlights on Parma. But listen, if he's anything like what I've seen on a consistent basis, like he's not far off being that first team standard already.
Well, if you've got somebody kind of like Arrigo Sacchi speaking well about your former Italian managerial legend, that's a good sign. But again, I can't get past this. 18 years of age, like you mentioned, Conor, anyone at that age, the up sticks, move across, and not just that, walk into a dressing room with Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Florian Wirtz, Alisson Becker. I mean, it just looked like he's unfazed by it. He just looked so calm through the whole process.
100%, and like you said, like he's been very, very highly rated by Italians, which is like if there's one thing Italians know how to do is defend. Like they're just the masters at it. So if he's anywhere near as good as they think he can be, then he's going to be an absolute superstar. I can't wait.
Clearly, Chris, Peter Crouch was his idol as he came in number 15.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, I quite like a 15 on a centre back. I don't know why. It seems like sort of quite a beastly number. Do you know what I mean? I'm usually a bit of a nerd for squad numbers, but that one I can forgive.
Well, let's actually talk about some of the new squad numbers then while we're having this conversation. How are we feeling, Conor, about our left back being number 6, Milos Kerkez?
I was just about to ask Chris that when he said it. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't mind it just purely because of John Arne Riise. If not for that, I'd be pissed off. But just because of Riise, I'm happy enough with it. I think Chris isn't very happy there.
No,
it's on the border for me as well. I can't lie. 6 is DM numbers in my head. I'm old-fashioned.
6 is either defensive midfielder or centre back. It is not a left back number. I understand why Riise was given it because he was a left midfielder, allegedly. That's what when Aurelio came in, and that's what they wanted to do with Riise and stuff like that. But no, change it to 3 as soon as you get the chance, Milos, because it's disgraceful.
Him and Endo should swap, really. Like
exactly. They literally have it right there, ready for them to swap. Why don't you just do it? Just appease us all. It's terrible.
Yeah, my OCD tendencies would very much be more settled to see him with the number 3. Ekitike, if I'm right, is 22. Is that right?
Simon Mignolet.
I am shocking with squad numbers, lads. I'm not going to lie. I'm shocking. 22. What do we think of that one then, Chris?
Goalkeeper number. It's just ridiculous. I understand they're potentially saving the number 9 for someone else, but that is a goalkeeper number. Please give him a number.
1 and 13 are goalkeeper numbers, personally.
Same, yeah. You're just thinking Mignolet too much.
113, 22, the 3 numbers. That's my 3.
I just like that's the same backwards. So
I would, to be fair, it is a palindromic number as well. Fair play.
So what we don't have, Conor, is a number 9. Now,
yeah, who
where may we find one?
I think give it to Chiesa personally. Like, there's no Swedish strikers we're going to look at signing. I haven't heard of any anyway.
Well, you know the greatest one in the history of football signed for Arsenal, obviously. So
you could just see James Pearce. Like, you could just see a James Pearce article towards the end of August, just saying like, Liverpool planning to use Chiesa in false 9. Like we'll award him with number 9 shirt. You could just I can just see that happening.
Cut shot to Craig punching his screen.
Yeah.
On the number 9 situation, Conor, interesting 2 weeks ahead for us in this regard. So we think that Ben Doak going to Bournemouth will trigger Bournemouth selling, obviously, Ouattara, which has happened to Brentford. Brentford then, in turn, may sell Johan Wissa to Newcastle, who, in turn, may have to find another striker before selling us Isak. All in 2 weeks. What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? And, like, I might sound like an idiot here, but, like, I've never even heard of Dango. I'm not even going to lie, and he's going for £45 million. Like, what is wrong with prices? He scored 7 goals last season. He's gone for £45 million. And Brentford won 60 for Wissa. Like, it's just gone insane. But
let's remember Newcastle's original offer for Johan Wissa, by the way, as well, which is £25 million.
Yeah, it's just insanity.
What did Shearer say about the 110 million? What was the quote from Alan Shearer? I think it said it was an insensitive bid or something like that.
That gets me, Chris. I have to say, like, even Newcastle and their fans said derisory bid. Oh, I'm sorry, £110 million is now a derisory bid. Is it? That's what we're saying.
Well, clearly, Johan Wissa for 25 million's very good value for money for everyone, isn't it?
Well, apparently today, Chris, according to Ben Jacobs, 60 million is the new number for Johan Wissa. So, you know, I guess my first question, Chris, would be if they stuck to 60 million and Newcastle still wanted to proceed, does that leave them PSR wiggle room to get the second one in? Because this is the Callum Wilson replacement, really.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they've got that Will Ostler, haven't they? Is Eddie putting any faith in him? Are they going to stick Gordon through the middle? I'm not too sure. I mean, it's going to have to be someone pretty cheap in order for them to do it. But yeah, I mean, little old Newcastle, what's going on, lads? Come on.
And by the way, Gordon and his 80 fucking aerobics instructor hairband can fuck off as well.
Oh, that was weird, wasn't it? He should never be a number 9. I think he's brilliant on the left, by the way, Gordon. I think he's a really, really good player, but crikey, never put him through the middle again. They really need a striker, like desperately.
So, Conor, we're all going to record in a week's time. Well, probably a week and a day because we play Newcastle in a week's time. So, do you think in a week and a day we're still talking about a pursuit of Isak?
Yes, 100%. I think there's absolutely zero chance of them selling us Isak before we play them. This is not going to happen. Like, whether it's been this planned this way all along, I don't know, but there's not a chance in hell they sell us Isak before then, and then he comes on, scores against them, or even just there. Like, I just can't see them letting that happen. So I hope that we have some sort of gentleman's agreement with Newcastle that we'll do a deal next week. But if we don't, then it's scrambling for the last 5 or 6 days. It's going to be very interesting.
So what worries me, Chris, is do we have a plan B? Because even looking around Europe or the world right now, I'm not really seeing any great options that make a load of sense to Liverpool. Yes, you can talk about Rodrigo, perhaps, but it feels like we're all in here. And my worry is that we've already spoken about being body short, you know, up front or in defence. What happens here if we don't get it done?
To be honest, I spoke about it before. I genuinely think we'll wait for him. Like, it's what we did with Van Dijk. And look at the first half of that 17-18 season, where we had to play. Sometimes we were playing like Klavan and Matip at centre back. No offense to either of those two absolute legends, but together it didn't look good. Or Lovren and Klavan and things like that. Just it wasn't great. And it was crying out for a centre back. And I think we're in a better situation this time around, obviously. But like, there's no one who's even close to Isak who's available on the market. Like, there's not many better than him in the world that aren't on the market. So yeah, I think we'll wait for him. And I think we've got Hugo. And I think we'll be all right, but we are a body short in the attacking sphere, as you say.
Oh, I think we're definitely short if we don't get Isak. I mean, we've got Salah, who's off for 6 weeks, Ekitike, Gakpo, and Rio. Chiesa maybe if he sticks around, but I don't know. It'd take a big leap of faith to think we can get through the season and not come a little bit unstuck. One thing, Conor, I wanted to ask you about, and I spoke to you a little bit about this off camera, but the story this week that Liverpool put the offer forward initially for Isak because Newcastle rang us and said, well, look, we see the Isak situations developing in a way that looks like it's a big problem for us. Let's have a chat. And we had a chat, and apparently threw 110 million bid, and that bid was so firmly rejected that it made Liverpool not want to even go back in yet, or feel it's pointless going back in. Confused?
Yeah, I reckon there must have been someone different on the end of the phone each time. Was Eddie Howe gave us a buzz, then we rang back and some of the Saudis picked up. But I don't know what happened there. But yeah, like again, like we've said, like offering a British transfer record and saying it's embarrassing and derisory or whatever words they're using is just ridiculous. Like he probably is worth somewhere around the 120, 30, but throwing around 150 is ridiculous. And then giving us encouragement and then telling us to go away, it's just they themselves don't even seem like they have their shopping order there. Like I don't know what they're playing at, to be honest. But I think, like Chris said as well, I think we would actually wait if we have to, because like I said, with Van Dijk, similar. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But I think, yeah, it's just all over the place, isn't it? It's so hard to know what's going to happen there. Like Newcastle just don't know what they're doing.
Let's switch it up and look at the other end of the pitch, and we'll talk about centre-back. So obviously Giovanni Leoni in, that is very welcome. That replaces Jarell Kwanzaa. But the Guehi Konate situation is a very intriguing one, Chris, because we are 2 weeks away from Konate going into this season with no time left on his deal at the end of it. And we have a similar situation with Mark Guehi. How would you go about resolving this if you were Liverpool?
I think they've offered. I think they will have offered Konate a contract, and I think they'll continue to negotiate with him. I think he's still a player. I know he was pretty terrible on Friday night, but he is a wonderful centre back, and he's proven it over the last 3 years, albeit a little bit unreliable with injury. I think they'll continue negotiating with Guehi. I think the dream situation is we have both of them come next season. I think we will sign Guehi before the end of the summer. Did you see the sort of the disdain he's treated Oliver Glasner with when they were walking off the field?
Did you not hear the new excuse for that one?
Oh, go on.
He needed to have a drug test, so we had to get off quick, sharpish, like.
Yeah, exactly. Bollocks. Yeah, look, I think we'll have him by the end of this window, and look, I think it'll be a good deal for Crystal Palace as well. They're obviously losing their captain, but they're getting a fee for him when next year they would be getting nothing for him. So it works out well for everyone. And with Ibu, I think it's just a question of his desire to stay and our desire of how much we value him at. And I don't think we value him as much as he probably thinks we do.
Conor, for me, the narrative around the Steve Parish part of this really confuses me. 2 weeks ago, or whenever it was that he was interviewed on Sky about the Europa League and the Europa Conference League stuff, he was asked about Mark Guehi and Crystal Palace letting a player like that leave for free. And he said basically, no, we can't do that. Fast forward to a few weeks now, and we're getting pitched this narrative in the media that Steve Parish is holding firm for the fee that he wants for Mark Guehi, and everybody's happy to let him go for free at the end of the season if that's the case. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's like even similar with Eddie Howe. Like he's often said things that's different than is coming out with the media with Isak. I'd imagine it's like Steve Parish has come out and said, well, we can't let him go for free. And then the Crystal Palace money men have come out and said to the media basically, well, obviously we can't just say that because then we have to sell him. It's just like, again, it's the two sides of the club almost arguing with each other on what they should do, or just not getting everything straight. So I think I'd take Steve Parish's word as they are. Like I think he's right; they cannot let him go for free, and I think they do know that. So I think the longer it gets and the closer it gets to deadline day, I think his price is just going down and down, and we will end up getting him at Anfield.
So, Chris, here's to me where this all falls apart. So Steve Parish can either keep the player for a year and lose him for free. Some people might say, well, he might think it's worth keeping him for a year. You know, I disagree because he's not going to add 30, 35 million quid's worth of bonus to them over the year, but he'd still have to go and sign a replacement on top of that. So in a year's time, they will lose Mark Guehi for nothing and have to shell out, I don't know how many millions for a defender. It's basically a 70 million quid swing. Don't understand it. I can't see that happening.
No, exactly. You're exactly right. And the thing is about both this deal and the Isak deal is that the longer it goes on, the more the player values depreciate, because you've got a player in Mark Guehi who is getting closer and closer and closer to the expiration of his contract. You've got a player in Isak who is going to continue to rot, and rot and burn bridges. For me, it just makes sense for both of these deals to be completed this window for both parties. It's just more beneficial for everyone if it gets done. And yeah, I just don't see a world in which they don't get done. But it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy on their side if they didn't, especially the selling clubs.
I want to read something out to you both that just popped in about an hour ago. And it's from Ben Jacobs. And it says, breaking, Johan Wissa has unfollowed Brentford, changed his profile picture back to black, removed all club photos from his Instagram account as he looks to leave the club. Vissa's move to Newcastle is currently being blocked by Brentford, as exclusively revealed earlier with Alex Crook. 28-year-old is unhappy Brentford won't engage over a sale unless a £60 million valuation is met, despite informing despite informing a few weeks ago they would entertain the sale. Wissa was also told a year ago he could leave for £26 million after committing to last season following Ivan Toney's departure to Al Hilal. So, Conor, I can't wait for everybody in the media to be up in arms about this one. It's going to be great seeing Arsenal fans, United fans, everybody that lambasted Isak and us going to town on Wissa. Have you got the popcorn ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even aside from that, even like Gyökeres going on strike at Sporting, we didn't hear anything about that before he went to Arsenal. So like, it's all just double standard, really. But I don't know if I agree with all this, like deleting all social media, real dramatic. Like, it is just very dramatic, isn't it? It's like, you could just do anything else to make, like, everyone knows he's unhappy. Does he have to do that as well? But yeah, it's like, I can't wait to hear everyone just slate him as well. The same. He's not just a fellow wanting to move. He's an enemy. He's the bad guy, obviously.
It's never great, Chris, when these things happen. It doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit the fans of the selling club, doesn't benefit the player, doesn't benefit the selling club itself. It's just a sad situation that what feels like could be sorted with a 10-minute face-to-face meeting where everybody just puts the cards on the table. We have these situations, as Conor pointed out, with Gyökeres, with Isak, with Johan Wissa. But it is mad that it's only the Isak one that is getting so much coverage and talked about over and over and over again. And yet we still haven't heard from Isak.
Yeah, I think we should get some sort of Brentford legends out. I don't know who is a Brentford legend, but we should get someone, and they need to call Newcastle a disgrace the way that they're acting, because clearly, he wants to go, and it's just that 26 million bid. It's just so derisory. So yeah, we just have to make sure we have the same standards for everyone else. But we won't, because we're huge, Craig. So it doesn't matter.
Yep, I can't wait. I've got the Craig smirky gif wave emoji ready to go. All good to go. All sorted. Right, gents, before we finish up, a few predictions. Now the league is underway. So let's start off with, and be honest, it's easy to say winning it, but where do Liverpool finish this season in the Premier League, Conor?
Winning it. We have to win it, don't we? Like, the money we spent, how good we were last year, I think we're definitely favourites, and I'm backing us to win it. I think we'll do it.
Well, give us your top six, and I want an in order. So give us your prediction on the top six.
No pressure.
I'll come back. I'll give you a minute, and I'll come back to Chris and ask first where Liverpool are finishing.
I really, 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 really want to say first, but I never do it, and I won't this time. I'm going to say second, but that's only because the only times I've ever said we're going to finish first, we've gone on to have rubbish seasons. So I'm going to say second to Man City.
So I'm going to stick my neck on the line here as well and say second to Arsenal. I think we win the Champions League this year and a domestic cup. That's my guess, but we'll move on to that in a sec. So I'm going to say Arsenal, belatedly, begrudgingly, Liverpool, Man City. I'm going to say Newcastle will get fourth. I feel very confident that if they get a striker,
Wissa will do really well for them. Yeah,
will £60 million signing that he is. So I think I'm going to go Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs. That's mine. So what did I say again? Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs. Although I could swap the Chelsea and Spurs one, but I'll stick with that. Conor?
You're both too miserable. We're winning it all, as I'm telling you. So Liverpool, I think, first. And then I'm going to go Arsenal second, City third, Chelsea fourth, Spurs fifth. And then I think it'll be a toss-up between Newcastle. And I don't want to back them, but I think United will be up there around 6, 7 to 8. So they might pip 6, but I'm going to go Newcastle for 6th.
So, Chris, the psychology of all of this is mad. We're going to get abuse for saying Liverpool won't win the league, right? But if we said we won't win the Champions League, nobody'd say a peep. But because we said we won't win the league now, we're going to get in trouble. But at least like caveated mine with saying we're winning the Champions League. You're just a hater.
Yeah, listen, I'm just a man who believes in jinxes. And if I say we're going to win it all, then we're definitely not, even though my opinion is completely irrelevant. But I think we'll finish second to Man City. I just think they're going to have, the bit between their teeth this year to get back in where they see themselves. They'll be top. I think us second, but we will win a treble this year. That's what I'm going to say.
I'm going to your top six.
Yeah, so I'm going to say City, us, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Spurs. I have a thing about. I think United will do well this year.
No Newcastle top six.
Sorry, lads, you're putting Liverpool second and saying United are going to be good. We can't have this. This is
I think the top three are so astronomically clear of everyone else. I think that needs to be said. Like,
I agree.
There'll be a 15-point gap between third and fourth.
I think you can make any guesstimation of the top three of Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal in any order and have credibility with what you say. So, yeah. Right, let's talk relegation then really quickly. Who's going down this season? Are the three promoted sides going straight back down, Conor?
No, Brentford and West Ham are absolutely doomed. After that, I'm not sure. But those two, I'm saying 100%. I think they're going down.
Well, Sunderland made a bright start as well, to be fair to them. They look interesting. Obviously, we see Leeds in action just now. They'd be kicking off as we're recording this. So, Chris, give us your relegation.
I still think Sunderland will go down. I think it'll be them, Brentford, and Burnley. Burnley are terrible.
I'm going to just go with Chris's, but I'm going to switch out West Ham, and I think Brentford will find a way to stay up somehow. But I do think West Ham could be in trouble, and that hurts me to say they shouldn't be in this position.
They'll sack Potter. They'll sack Potter and they'll get someone else.
He's gone within 3 weeks. Yeah.
I feel sorry for them.
They look so bad, like so bad. And they should not look that bad with the players that they've had come through there and the money that they've had available as well. So Champions League winner then, gents. Last one before we finish up. He was going to go on and actually, does anybody know where the final is this year?
Budapest.
Nice.
Szoboszlai and Kirkes returning home to win their trophy and to win Liverpool's number 7.
What a city to go and have a little weekend in or whatever or a little few days in for the Champions League. I've heard nothing but good things about Budapest. So Conor, who's winning it? Who's lifting it in Budapest?
Obviously Liverpool, of course. Obviously, if not us, then it's. I have a sneaky suspicion Chelsea are going to be absolutely brilliant in Europe this year. I think I just have a sneaky suspicion they're going to be up there, but I'm not going to back them. I'm backing us, but I think Chelsea definitely dark horses.
It feels, Chris, like there's probably only 4 clubs that can win it, if we're being honest about it. I'm going to say, I don't think PSG will retain it. And I'm going to say us, yeah, like I said earlier on, I think we win it, but don't win the league. So I'm going to go for us. Yeah,
and I think it's between us, Madrid, City, and PSG. I don't think Bayern are up there. I don't think Barcelona have it yet. So I think those are the 4 teams. And I think even Arsenal, you could count Arsenal in there as well. I think they do actually have the quality to do it, but whether they have the bottle is another thing. So yeah, I think we'll win it. And it'll be great for Szoboszlai and Kirkes in their home country to do it.
Obviously, Arsenal were the greatest team in Europe last year, undoubtedly so, according to Mikel Arteta. So
yeah.
There it is. Another week in the bag, ladies and gents, and we will return after Liverpool's tricky trip to St. James's Park. Thank you to Conor for coming in to cover for Steve. Thank you to Chris, as always, and to you guys for watching. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.